Hi, I'm John, welcome to my channel, Disquiet and Dragons. In today's video I'll be doing the Phenomenal Woman booktube tag. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me while I'm out and about again. Today while I'm out on my walk I thought I'd do the Phenomenal Woman booktube tag, which I was kindly tagged by my friend Stuart at Stuart Griffin. I'll tag his channel in the description. I think the tag itself was created by Marilyn Mayer Mendoza. My apologies if I pronounce that wrong. I think she's been doing a Phenomenal Woman readathon this month, and she also created this booktube tag to go along with it. I was really happy when Stuart tagged me because the prompts are really interesting. It gets you thinking about some of the many brilliant female authors that are around these days. So with that being said, I'll get on to the first prompt, which is, who is your favourite Phenomenal Woman author? This was a bit difficult for me to answer because there's a couple of female authors, namely Robin Hobb and Becky Chambers, I think are absolutely phenomenal, and if I'd read more of their work it would be one of those two, but I've only read 2 books by both of them, so I thought I'd go with an author that I'm a little bit more familiar with, and that's CJ Tudor. She's an author from I think she was originally from Nottingham in England, and she's got quite a wonderful story. She was a dog walker and she thought she'd try her hand at writing a novel, and her debut novel came out, The Chalk Man, and it was a brilliant success, so she was able to become a full-time author. She's I think she's released, I think it's either 5 or 6 full-length novels and a short story collection. I've read all of them apart from her newest one, so I think it's 5 in the short stories that I've read, and they're just brilliant. I would say she's like, I don't know if she's full on horror, because some of her novels fall more into thriller, but they're very much dark thriller, so yeah, if you like horror, definitely give her a try. She's her writing is really fast paced. She always writes really likable characters. You always want them to succeed and hope that the good guys win through, as it were. If I was to recommend one of her books, I would say either The Hidden People, which is the only full-length novel I've ever started and finished in one sitting. It's about 350 pages. I started it at about 7 o'clock in the evening and finished at about 2 in the morning. I just couldn't put it down, but the next day at work was, yeah, it was rough, because I got to bed about 2:30 and I had to be up at 5, but well worth it. No regrets on that one. The other one is The Burning Girls. This definitely falls into kind of like a supernatural folk horror type tale. Very creepy. Some beautiful descriptions of country life in England, but there's also a very good TV show, The Burning Girls. I think it's on Paramount Plus. If you can get a free trial or something, well worth binge watching that. It's only about 5 episodes or so, but absolutely brilliant. I'm actually going to pick a non-fiction female author as well, and for that one I'm going to go with Skye Alexander. Absolutely love her writing. She writes a lot of books about witchcraft and tarot and finding your path in that regards. If you want to look more into witchcraft, The Modern Guide to Witchcraft is a brilliant book. It tells you all the things that you might not know but you probably need to know, and it never treats you as if you're stupid for not knowing them. It treats you it's written in a really respectful, informative way, but there's a humour to it as well, which makes it a much more human book. It's I think non-fiction sometimes, like with reference books especially, they can come across as a bit dry, but not with Sky Alexander's writing. She's also done a book on tarot and keeping a grimoire and all that kind of thing. She's also written books like on mythology. My friend Ellie at Bibbidi Bobbidi Books recently reviewed her Sky Alexander's book on mermaids. So if that sounds interesting to you, well worth picking up some of her books. So it's time for the second prompt now, which is which book features your favourite phenomenal woman character? I'm going to pick two for this. I'm going to pick one written by a male author and one written by a female author. The female character written by a male author is Muriel Macaulay in The Haar by David Sodergren. She's just such a wonderful character. The Haar, if you haven't read it, it's a folk horror set in Scotland, and it's set in this small coastal village, and the residents there are being hounded by this multinational company who want to like buy them out and displace them from their homes because they want to build a multi-billion pound or dollar golfing resort. And Muriel, she's a widow and she misses her husband greatly. Her children have moved away because there weren't many jobs in the area, so they had to move away, so she's very alone. And the book is just so atmospheric and it's beautifully written, and it deals with loss and grief and loneliness. And Muriel is she's just such a wonderfully written character. Despite everything that's going wrong for her, she still gets up each day despite her age and lives the life to the best that she can. She's feisty and strong and willful, and yeah, just a wonderful, wonderful character. If you like horror and folk horror especially, it's a fantastic book. It's a 5-star book with a wonderful, wonderful main character. My second favourite female character is Kissin from Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. Godkiller is a fantasy novel, and at the beginning we find our main character Kissin. Her family home gets set on fire, and her family is attacked because of what they believe in. And later the book follows Kissin, who out of spite and wanting revenge, she's became a god killer, a kind of mercenary who goes around the countryside and the country hunting out gods and killing them by whichever means necessary. Kind of like if you imagine a witcher of sorts. So as the book goes on, Kissin at first, you think she's kind of, understandably so, she's quite solitary and selfish, and she definitely looks out for herself. But with her background, yeah, it's understandable. But as the story goes on, she meets other characters, and she becomes fiercely loyal and protective of them, and you see her true nature start to come through the armour that she's put around herself, and she just becomes a wonderful, wonderful character, I think, despite everything that's gone on in her life, because she's actually she lost a leg in her early life, but despite all these setbacks, she's an absolute badass. She's a wonderful fighter, fiercely loyal to her friends, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the second book in the series, so I can see where Kissin's character goes from there. But at the end of Godkiller, I finished it and I put it down. I thought, yeah, Kissin, you are an amazing character. So yeah, if you like epic fantasy type novels, give Godkiller a try. Really good book. On on to the third prompt, which is, if you were to create a book prize, which book by a phenomenal woman author would you give the prize to? The book prize I would create would be the Best Description of Nature in Literature award, and I'd give this award to Emily Tesh for her book Silver in the Wood. And it's like a dark fairy tale with definite folklore influences. It's about a gentleman named Tobias who lives alone in the woods. He lives with his cat, and he's kind of like the warden of the woods, and he makes friends with the dryads, and he's pretty much left alone. The local villagers, they really do fear him. But one day a gentleman comes, there's like a storm going on outside, and a gentleman comes by his cottage, and this is Mr. Silver, who has bought the local like mansion, and he now owns the woods. And the story goes on about how Tobias and Mr. Silver become friends, and how their friendship becomes a relationship. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. But the highlight of it is Emily Tesh's descriptions of the woods. I've never read a book that so accurately describes the magic of being in the woods. Just the way she describes the sights and the noises and the smells of the woodland, it's absolutely beautiful. It's almost with every chapter, with more descriptions of the woodlands and the individual plants, you really feel like you're in these woods. But yeah, as I said, I don't think I've read another novel that describes nature quite as well as that book does by Emily Tesh. If you like dark fairy tales and fantasy, yeah, definitely pick it up. It's a wonderful book, and it's also got a fantastic audiobook on Audible. So on to the final tag, which is tag some phenomenal woman booktubers. You'll have to bear with me, I've got my list for this one so that I don't forget anybody. The first person I'd like to tag is Ellie at Bibbidi Bobbidi Books. Wonderful, wonderful booktuber, and I'd like to congratulate her on recently getting 2,000 subscribers, which is fully deserved, as her channel, it's a brilliant channel. Please check out her channel if you haven't. The second channel I'd like to tag is Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook, another wonderful booktuber, and she's also an author as well, so check out her channel and her books. Third tag is Cathy at Tales of Neverwhere, a wonderful fantasy booktube channel, so again, please check her channel out. And lastly, I'd like to tag Jen at Literary Love 123. Jen has a horror booktube channel, and she has a master's in English, so she talks from a really unique viewpoint about horror, and yeah, her channel's brilliant, so definitely check her out as well. So that about brings us to the end of this video. Thank you ever so much for joining me while I'm out and about on my walk. Hope you've enjoyed the answers to the tags. Please check out the channels that I mentioned in the video. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are and enjoying what you're reading. And until the next one, I'll see you soon. You take care. Bye.